Brothers and sisters, some people, they have a problem in balancing halal and haram in their work. So I'm going to tell you something. Remember two things in your job. Two things, two principles. Your work is halal and in the path of Allah if you can manage two things. Number one, there is a benefit, nafa', to yourself or to the society and community. So it has to be a benefit. But a benefit that pleases Allah, not a benefit that displeases Allah. Number two, it has to be itqan. Itqan means to do what you said you're going to do. To do it to the fullest. Don't cut corners. Some people, they're working till 4 o'clock. They look at the time, boss is not there, got no job. See me walking out at 3 p.m. Why? I've just stolen money. Unless they allow me. I just stole 1 hour. I'm getting paid for that. Brothers and sisters, Allah says it in the Quran. وَالْمُوفُونَ بِعَهْدِهِمْ إِذَا عَاهَدُوا. And those who fulfill their promises and contracts when they give those promises. That is deen, my brothers and sisters. Some people, they take a job and it becomes hard for them to do salat. Listen, they take a job and they're in need of the job, and sometimes their job requires that sometimes they will have to delay their salah. Sometimes the dhuhr has to be prayed at asr time, depending on your job. Now, the answer to that, brothers and sisters, is you got to, first of all, and I'm almost done, you got to look at your necessity situation. If it's your livelihood and how much you're in need of this job, then Islam gives you a way out, concessions. And more so, I'm not being sexist here, more so for men, they have a greater need for a job in general, I'm talking about just generally speaking, not specifically, than women, because Islam makes the responsibility of the man to provide financially for their family, but it is not the responsibility of the woman. However, there are exceptions. Some families don't adhere to that, and there are sisters who are in strife, and their husbands or their fathers or their brothers or their culture or whatever it is puts the burden on them. This sister is rewarded double. However, I'm saying there are people in general. So men can probably have a bigger excuse of why they need to work. And if a sister has a need to work as well, when it comes, I'm not saying you can't work, I'm saying you need to work when you have to compromise some parts of your religion, such as your salat. Go to get a job and the boss says, I won't let you pray dhuhr. You look at if you're in need of this job, especially if you're working towards having an independent job, yani something big that's coming your way. The scholars have spoken about this. And they said, for example, in salat, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the hadith is in Sahih Muslim, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu mentioned this. He says, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam once prayed, and I prayed with him, dhuhr and asr together without a reason. And he prayed maghrib and isha without a reason, together. Only once. And the ulama said why? He said, in order to give a leeway for the Muslims in times of hardship. So that's the reason. So in times of hardship means in your job. If every now and then you may not be able to pray your salat on time, you can join it with the next, but only dhuhr and asr, maghrib and isha. You can't join asr with maghrib. One brother called the shaykh and he said, Ya shaykh, I can't even pray the asr. So I lose out on dhuhr, asr and maghrib. And he said to him, well, even in that case, you can pray sitting at your desk. You can pray lying down. You can pray, where you are. So find a way, inshallah. Some people can't go to Jumu'ah Salat. You don't have to go to the mosque if you're at work and you couldn't get there. And it's the correct opinion is that the majority of opinions of the scholars is that it is a sunnah to go to the masjid, not a fard. That's a minority do say it's fard, but the majority say it's a sunnah. Especially if a person's at work and can't attend the Jumu'ah, then try to find 2 people with you who are Muslim to pray with you at your lunch break. If you can't and your job is a necessity, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, pray your dhuhr 4 rak'ahs. I remember one brother, he said to me, I'm paramedic. And sometimes a person is injured, they've got trauma and they'll die if I leave them. And my asr is going to go, my maghrib is going to go, even my isha is going to go. Say, it's okay, combine them whenever you can. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, مَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. Allah did not make in this deen things, He did not command you things that create hardship upon you in your life. But our brothers and sisters, there are concessions in the deen in times of necessity. But of course, it can't be a type of job or a work that this is the habit every single day. So you've got to find ways, inshaAllah. For Allah says in the Quran, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah as much as you can. So Islam and deen and dunya do not have to clash. Sometimes there's a concession. Other times you can meet compatible both together. And sometimes you can get your deen over the dunya if the dunya is distracting you that much. There is a balance. And lastly, I finish with this, insha'Allah ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, whether you're at home, whether you're a husband, whether you're a wife, whether you're a friend, whether you're an employee, no matter what you are, a mother, a father, a son, a daughter, turn it all into worship by making your intention for the sake of Allah, and so long as the action is correct. Anything you do. And there was lastly the Abu Darda and Salman Farisi. They were brothers in Iman. Salman Farisi saw Darda, his wife, once with torn clothing. Well, clothing were not that good, and she looked like she wasn't being looked after. He said, "Where is my brother Abu Darda?" She said, "He is too busy. Your brother is too busy with his Creator, with Allah, with his Lord. He's always in the masjid. He's always fasting. He hardly sleeps. He's praying." So it looked like his wife was being neglected. She's being neglected with intimacy. She's being neglected with wealth. She's being neglected with her clothes, with her food, and even with her right to have a time with him. So she's living in a miserable state because Abu Darda is busy with his Lord. Salman Farisi went to him and said to him, "Go back home." He said, "I want to be in the masjid." He said, "No, I forbid you. Get out. I command you. You're going to have to go." And he said, "All right, I'm coming." He was fasting. He said, "Eat, break your fast." It wasn't Ramadan. He broke his fast. That night he wanted to stay up and pray. He said, "Go to sleep." He went and complained to the Prophet ﷺ, says, my brother Salman Farisi didn't let me pray, he didn't let me fast, and didn't let me stay in the masjid. He said, "What does Salman say?" He says, "Salman says, your wife has a right, your Lord has a right, and yourself has a right. Give each one its balanced right." And then Rasul ﷺ said, "Sadaqa Salman, Sadaqa Salman, Sadaqa Salman." As Salman has spoken the truth, spoken the truth, spoken the truth.